What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a brand new community crunch. As you guys know, PAX has been going on and ARC have had their own little booth over there, and we've had a plethora of information come out to us in the last couple of hours. But the main thing that I want to talk about in today's video is the Carchardontosaurus. Now guys, they have said that they were going to bring the Carchar for a while now. It was the creature from the community vote. It was the fourth creature, I believe. So it actually didn't make the top three, but they were like, stuff it, let's put it in anyway. So here we have our first look at this big beefy boy. And oh my God, does he look imposing. I'm getting major like Jurassic World Dominion vibes from it. It kind of reminds me of the Giga, which it's kind of like a distant relative or something like that to the Giga. First off though, the thing that I want to talk about first is that it appears to be on the Genesis Part 1 map. Now, whether or not it will be exclusive to this map remains to be unseen. Obviously, we only have very brief, small amounts of information. So whether or not it is on the Genesis 1 only map, I'm going to say I wouldn't be surprised because they'll chuck it behind like sort of like a paywall where you have to have the DLC in order to get it. Nonetheless, you'll still be able to spawn it in on the other maps with INI codes and admin commands. Obviously, what gives it away, the Bloodstalk is in the background, plus these flowers are only found on Genesis 1. Now, let's take a look here at the rest of this. The Carchar is absolutely massive. We've got a picture of raptors down here with it, and what appears to possibly be either Giga skeletons or Rex or Carchardontosaurus, obviously skeletons. So it could be a couple of different things, but this guy looks absolutely imposing. So this is the splash art that we've got for it, done by the amazing Enfuego. Now, if we come over here, we also have the dossier for it. Now, first things first, what I want to cover is the size of the Carchardontosaurus. Now, based off this image here, I'm fully assuming that this is a Carno. And then obviously the Carchardontosaurus is standing menacingly above the Carno. Now, we don't have an exact scale in comparison to the Giga, but the dossier does briefly mention this. So let's go over the dossier real quick. I feel lucky to have crossed paths with Carchardontosaurus metaceptus. Jesus Christ, try saying that 3 times fast. And lived to tell the tale. Though I'm not sure if this predator grows bigger than a Giga, I hope never to find out. Just one of these bruises held its own against an army of us, and that encounter cost us dearly. Carchardontosaurus can sweep aside attackers with its tail, but it's the other end you'll really want to avoid. It has teeth like steak knives set in jaws strong enough to shred most prey. Even a near miss will carve you up. But good. So, taking from that, it doesn't appear to be as big as a Giga. You can see here, I'm not sure if this predator grows bigger than a Giga, so I'm going to say it's slightly smaller than the Giga. Its tail is massive as well. Obviously, it's going to need to counterbalance its massive body, and it does sound like it will have a tail swing attack, which is pretty badass. As well as that, even a near miss will carve you up good. So it sounds like it could potentially do splash damage in an area based off its teeth. But obviously, jaws strong enough to destroy things. It's going to be a massive biter damage dealer, very similar to the Giga. But it does sound like it will have added benefits of a tail flick attack as well as maybe an AoE effect due to it missing or something like that. Now, let's keep going over it. Like its namesake, the great white shark, Carchardontosaurus gets more dangerous once it tastes blood. Each kill seems to give these monsters a rush and drive it into a berserker frenzy. So it sounds like it's going to get like a bloodlust effect, where the more it kills, the more damage reduction it could possibly have and take. So I'm keen to see the abilities on this guy. Nonetheless, let's keep going. Anyone that manages to tame a Carchardontosaurus will gain a new way to rally their tribe for battle. There's something about this monster's roar that drives others to fight, a war cry for Hell's own army. Now, this sounds really cool, and as you can see, you've got some brackies in the background here. We've got a stego as well, and what appears to be the Carchar doing a roar. So it sounds like it's going to be very similar to the Yudi roars, even the Dinotherium roars, which, once again, I'm super keen to test and take a look at. You can also see the tail swick attack in motion here, actually breaking rocks, so potentially able to use it as a harvester, maybe? Who knows? The more tactical tribes will let their Carchardontosaurus tear through the mid-sized creatures in their enemies' ranks, thereby building up the blood rage to take on the largest threats. Talk about shock and awe. So definitely will have a blood rage effect. I don't think there's anything on the arcs at the moment that has something similar to that, where the more it kills, the more damage it deals. don't believe so. I think the Zippocanthus from the Arc Editions mod has something like that. It has a blood rage effect. But other than that, nothing non-modded actually has that effect. And then down the bottom here, you can see that it's got a roar. Now, one thing that it's got half a belt, it's got a tick and then a cross. I'm pretty sure that means that it won't be rideable. Like it's domesticated, like you can domesticate it, but you can't actually ride it. Not entirely sure, purely speculation, but like, why would it have the cross there and then a tick? The tick generally means that you can tame them, but the cross more means you can't ride it. So I really hope that they haven't done that and that you can ride it. I'm purely speculating. I've got no extra information to go off in comparison to you guys. So yeah, but that's the Carchardontosaurus in all its glory. If we come back over here, it's pretty much the same sort of thing. It says, Carchardontosaurus will make a triumphant entry to Ark with a noteworthy set of ability that puts it in competition with Ark's most feared carnivores. With a notable taste for blood, Carchardontosaurus will become more friendly as it gets its fill. But other than that, we don't actually have any indication whether or not you can put a saddle on it. And looking at the dossier, that kind of makes me nervous. I really hope you can saddle ride this thing. Yeah, that's a little bit worrying. But that's pretty much it for the Carchardontosaurus. I don't know, like I said, what map it will be on. But it does say, they mentioned a while back that it won't be map specific. Yeah, so we're not sure. But like that little X down the bottom there makes me a little nervous. But what we've also done is we've gone ahead and got, now obviously this is based on scientific thingy, so it's not actually factoring in Ark. We've got the Carchardontosaurus and the Giga scale. And you can see here in meters, the Giga is slightly bigger. So it stands at about 4.2 meters, roughly high. And then the Carchardontosaurus is just under that 4 meter mark of its skull. But its tail does reach that point. So it looks like it's kind of more of an agile version of the Giga, possibly. Now, obviously, this could be incorrect as well. It didn't really take me long to find this, so like it could possibly be scientifically inaccurate. But it does look like the Carchardontosaurus will be smaller than the Giga, and I genuinely hope that it is smaller than the Giga. And I'm pretty sure Carchardontosaurus has also had semi-hollow skulls. They had thinner skulls as well. So, nonetheless, I'm super keen for the Carchardontosaurus. The fact that I can't get over the fact that it's got that little X makes me nervous that it's not going to be saddleable. Okay, yeah, see what I mean here? So, once it comes up, let me look at it. See here? See how it's got the belt and then it's got the double tick? And it's got the picture of the saddle. That means that it can be saddled. So that kind of makes me nervous that it's not going to be rideable. Unless you don't need a saddle to ride it, which is highly unlikely considering the spine's located all along its body. My guess is that it's possibly not going to be tameable. Sorry, not rideable. So that's kind of sus. Same situation here with the Desmodus. It's got the double saddle tick. Yeah, something fishy's going on there. Why would it have the X for? I feel like it's not going to have a saddle, which is really sucky. Oh, I hope they don't screw us around on that one. I really hope they give us a saddle. Alrighty guys, well, I think that's going to wrap up this video for today. There's not really much else to say about the Carchardontosaurus, unfortunately. The other things that they did release, which I won't be covering in this, I'll probably be doing a separate video. Scorched Earth now has an Ascension ending, and the island now has an intro trailer as well. So I'll be covering those in a little bit later, but let's just admire the Carchardontosaurus for a little bit. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. Let me know what you think about the saddle prediction down below. But other than that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.